Hey, good morning. It's 11:31. Happy Thanksgiving. It's Thursday. I wanted to give you a quick update on the National Guard shooting in DC. The suspect's name is Ramanullah Lakhanwal from Bellingham, Washington, a 29-year-old Afghan individual who entered the country in 2021 as part of a operation to welcome in those who supported U.S. troops in Afghanistan during the conflict there. He worked with the CIA in Kandahar, came in 2021. In 2024, he applied for asylum. In 2025, April, under the Trump administration, he was granted asylum after a thorough vetting of the Department of Homeland Security. This is the same Department of Homeland Security who is now saying that Mr. Lockenwall was part of a large group of unvetted, paroled Afghans who were basically running amok in the country because of the Biden administration. Again, for an asylum process, it goes through the DHS, it goes through the FBI, it goes through multiple agencies for a background check before someone is granted asylum. This was granted in April of this year under the Trump administration and Kristi Noem, who runs the Department of Homeland Security. Please be aware of that. They will paint this and as obviously a far left, liberal sponsored attack, and it's all Joe Biden's fault and all that bullshit. Just please remember the facts. The two individuals who were shot, National Guardsmen, were a 20-year-old and a 24-year-old from West Virginia. They are still in critical condition. Please send your thoughts to them and their families as well. Uh, but remember the reality of this situation, please. Let's go back a little bit to Afghanistan, where the reason that country fell was because Donald Trump, in one of his last acts as president, released 5,000 Taliban and the senior leadership who now currently run the country. They released them into Afghanistan as part of a deal that they struck with the Taliban that didn't include the Afghan government. So they released the force that was going to take over Afghanistan back into the country that then did so the following year. So these individuals who've come to this country, who have served U.S. troops and helped keep U.S. troops alive, myself included, in Afghanistan, came to this country for help and to get a better life for them. And they were fleeing a situation that Donald Trump and the Republican administration created, and that's reality. Without those 5,000 individuals, without that senior leadership, Afghanistan would not have fallen, or certainly would not have fallen that fast. So please be aware of that. Um, and the fact that National Guard are even in DC to be an opportunistic target, uh, there's no call for it. There's no reason. There's no reason. And I believe Muriel Bowser, the mayor of DC, has already started to call on that. And I asked that you join that call. Like, why were they there? Why was the National Guard there? And then started asking questions like, why did somebody who worked for the CIA and was granted asylum by Department of Homeland Security under Kristi Noem and the Trump administration, why did they drive from Washington on the day before Thanksgiving to shoot two National Guardsmen from West Virginia? And these are valid questions. I don't want you to say one thing happened or another, but I would like you to ask questions and join me in asking questions as you continue to think of the individuals who were harmed in DC, the National Guardsmen. So, in response, obviously, the Trump administration is now reviewing and vetting everyone as a part of that operation to bring supporters of U.S. troops into the country under Operation Allies Welcome, I believe. So they're going to look at all the Afghans in the country now, uh, basically because they look different than us and they come from a different country. So this is going to blend right in with what they're trying to do. I ask that you not fall into that. I ask that you remember that the overwhelming number of Afghans who have been welcomed into this country were of critical support to U.S. troops in helping keep them alive and helping operations inside of Afghanistan. I ask you to remember that. I ask you not to fall for this, all Afghans are evil kind of thing that they are heavily going to push. And this is for people, and I hope people on the right see this. You've been fed this story before. Please don't fall for it. Please ask questions about why the DC Guard was even there, the National Guard from West Virginia was even there in other states, and then ask why this gentleman came all the way from Washington as a previous employee of the CIA after being granted asylum by the DHS to come in on the day before Thanksgiving and shoot two individuals. I think based on the historic questions we've had concerning Charlie Kirk and the FBI's handling of that, um, the Butler incident attempt, quote unquote attempt on Donald Trump, and their response to that, the shooting in Texas on the ICE facility by by an individual who took the time to write anti-ICE on the bullet casing, apparently before shooting three immigrants, I believe, not ICE officers themselves. I think it is okay to ask questions. But as of right now, the two guardsmen are in critical condition, so please think about them. The suspect is still not cooperating, did not have identification on him at the time. They got they ID'd him through fingerprints and figured out who he was. But again, entered the country in 2021, um, was vetted and approved by Kristi Noem, Donald Trump, Department of Homeland Security, uh, using a background check from the FBI, Kash Patel, and decided to drive across the country on the day before Thanksgiving and shoot at two National Guardsmen while this administration is in the center of multiple controversies and scandals, to include the Epstein files, to include Venezuela, to include the fact that they are pushing a Russian wish list as the answer to the Ukraine-Russia conflict, a number of other things. The fact that multiple accounts, mega accounts, have been found to be from Israel, Nigeria, Russia, I believe, including the Department of Homeland Security based in Israel. So please ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. Send thoughts for the people that have been injured, the two guardsmen, and ask fucking questions. And ask your representatives to ask questions too, like what is going on. Sift through all the ranting and raving from the right, trying to blame it on everybody but themselves, and ask questions, especially about the history of the individual in custody. Okay, thanks.